Man, that kicks ass. Just saying. Hello, everybody. I'm Raynor, and we are joined today by the lovely Dylan from Small Talk, and of course my man with a plan, Seth, which is ironic because he never has a plan. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been late today.
I was going to say, I really don't have the plan, so thank you for that, but, you know.
All right. Well, before we get started today, we want to thank our sponsors. God damn, you got me screwed up already, Seth. Sponsor, Watto Scrapyard. If you want anything done, Black Series 1/6 in the Star Wars universe, he is your guy, and what a guy. He does amazing work, let me tell you. We actually added one of his recent works that I added to my collection today. Let's take a look at that. So this is a Sith pureblood from Star Wars: The Old Republic era, and what can I say? Wow, this thing turned out great. What do y'all think?
It looks fantastic, dude. Dark Side Customs and knocks the paint job out of the water every single time. Every figure, every head sculpt I've ever seen, holy crap, it's a work of art.
Yep, indeed. And this was painted, of course, like you said, by Dark Side Customs and Ian over at OFAC. You want to hit him up, he will definitely get you sorted for a good cost as well. And who better to paint your new Watto Scrapyard head sculpt?
And Watto, I mean, dude, that is a clean head sculpt. I don't know how he manages to pull off. I know if I tried to, it would not look that good. It would look ugly. It would look terrible.
What's that character again?
So that's a Sith pureblood. So it's a race of Sith from the planet Korriban. So a little background information since you asked. So in the old legends, before Disney trashed the EU, but we're not going to go into that. The Jedi were originally called the Jedi, and they fought the Rakata during the ancient Force Wars. And basically, after the Rakatan Force Wars were done, the Jedi split up into what we now know as the Jedi and the Sith. And the Sith, were still fallen Jedi at this point, went to Korriban, escaping the Jedi after they just had a massive war with each other. It was basically kind of like a massive civil war. And they met this species that were really strong with the dark side naturally. Nearly every one of their species is force sensitive with the dark side. So they interbred with them, and they became what we now know as the Sith. This is a little Star Wars lore for you.
That's awesome.
So,
of course, now it's all trash.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Now it's all like, who gives a crap? But, you know, some of us, we cling on to the classics, you know? We cling on to our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to go over today a little bit about how to obtain certain rarities, because I know this is a question I've been asked, is, you know, how do you go about obtaining these obscure items? Well, it's easier than you might think. I would think, you know, there's obviously auctions and thrift stores. Those are obvious. Yard sales, semi-obvious. But one thing people don't realize is you can go to pawn shops and virtually find anything. And they're willing to work with you on it. You just have to be a little wary about what you're buying, because pawn shops often will, how should I say this, not be on the up and up sometimes about what they're actually selling you. So you always want to go in knowing what you have, knowing what you're buying, and always ask the proper questions.
Very true. And also, you can find a lot of thrift shops, but you have to be playing Thrift Shop by Macklemore while you're shopping.
Oh, dude, that's like a law, dude. I do that
kind of a
time.
necessity, and you know, you have to have the big fur coat on and everything. I mean, it's just, come on. That's the best part about shopping rarities, is like you walk in, you pop some tags. It's just a fun time.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm still trying to find a fur coat in my size. They unfortunately don't make those easy to find in XXX.
Very true. That would be a rarity.
Yes, that would be. Actually, there we go. We should have a new segment now. Raynor's hunt for his thrift shop coat. We'll do an update every year. Oh, nope, didn't find it yet. Oh, I found it. So, but yeah, yard sales, especially estate sales, they're really good because, you know, I don't mean to offend any old people out there, but old people are constantly passing away and leaving their stuff behind, and they're the biggest collectors of these rare items, these obscure items, because it's a lot of times it's stuff from their childhood or stuff that they're really into, and when they pass away, they just leave it behind, and so this is a great way to get some obscure items. I don't know,
That's
Seth.
very true. Fun fact about estate sales too is, at least I don't know in other states, but at least in the state of Texas, if you're holding an estate sale and obviously you hire a company to come in and handle the estate sale, they can sell literally everything but alcohol. So I actually know a lady that does estate sales. And so, like, they make tons of money doing it. They swear it's a great business, but she always ends up with, like, just bottles and bottles of what she calls DPL, dead people liquor.
Oh, geez, that's kind of dark.
Yeah, and they'll pop it open and drink it because, I mean, they can't sell it. So she just has, like, hundreds of, like, rare bottlings of, wine, whiskey, whatever, because they can't sell it.
We just broke into estate sales.
What are estate sales? I've never heard that before. Is that how does that compare with a yard sale, or is it the same thing?
So basically, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, so think about it like if you have a loved one that passes away and they have a ton of crap. Obviously some of it might be worth a lot, some of it might be worth a little, and you don't want to do the research in it. You would hire an estate sale company that are generally very well versed in a wide range of things, and they will sell the stuff for you at the appropriate prices and then take a cut off of it.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So they're
basically yard sale brokers, basically.
Yeah, I guess we see a type of that, but it's typically like an auction, or they hire an auctioneer and a company that does the selling part of it. So
estate sales are usually a bit more classy than your typical yard sale. Typically, you have a whole crew working them,
right?
And it's really laid out really well. Usually, you go inside the house as opposed to just everything being on the front lawn, that type of thing.
Yeah, interesting.
Now, we already covered our Macklemore topic, thrift shops, but let me tell you, you never know what pops into those places. You just never know. I have found crazy stuff in thrift stores. I actually once found an old 50 switchblade in there.
That's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, it didn't work, obviously. It was rusted and crud, but, I looked it up, and I'm like, holy crap, this thing's from the 50s.
Okay, that's slightly less awesome than it didn't work. I feel like you should have started with that point.
But like Goodwill, Salvation Army, you never know what's going to pop into these types of places. You just never know. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Mm-hmm. I honestly have never found a really good find in the thrift shop. And I've been a few times, and it's just not lucky for me.
Other than the Switchblade, the best find I ever had was a full set of Star Trek The Next Generation DVD box set Blu-ray. They wanted like $2 for it. And I'm like, awesome. Sold.
But will you do $1.50?
You're haggling a charity, though. I mean, don't you feel a little guilty?
I mean, they are selling it for dirt cheap. But yeah, I guess so.
True. So, auctions, another great way to find your rarities. I personally have never been to an auction, believe it or not. I've never actually been able to attend one. That hasn't happened for me. Either of you been able to attend an auction?
Actually, I did an auction online once, not like your typical like eBay or anything like that. This was a legit auction with an auctioneer through a gun shop that I really liked that closed and bought a few items. It was actually a cool little thing. Buy it online, go pick it up. They run the background check and all that. So
that's pretty cool. Dylan?
Yeah, auctions are a pretty consistent part of living in rural agricultural America. Mm-hmm. A lot of equipment anytime anyone, maybe needs to move on, or, they've stopped farming, or someone else takes over, there's always all types of auctions, it seems like, going on in the small areas where I'm from. So Yeah, I've been to quite a few, seen quite a few. They're not as exciting as you would think or hope, but
Yeah, it's not like as dramatic as they make it out in movies, huh?
oh yeah, 100%.
Well, we got a new segment this show. We started with the minifigure of the month. Now, this is where I take a minifigure that I have in my own personal collection, and I talk a little bit about it, a little bit about its background, a little bit about why it's rare, why it's what where you could get it, or at least can get it or could, because a lot of these are discontinued, like this one. So this is Darth Revan from the Old Republic era. This is, you may know him from the Knights of the Old Republic games and the Star Wars The Old Republic MMO, and as well as a few books. And if you're a real hardcore fan of the Clone Wars, a deleted episode. So this is a polybag that was given out on the May the 4th promo a few years. Very inconsistent. They didn't really... the first one was heavily advertised, but after Disney took over, it kind of just dropped out of nowhere. You really had to be in the LEGO community to really know that it was coming. And because of this, it's new. This polybag goes for over 100.
That's just crazy to me. Like, I love Legos. I have quite a few sets myself, but being a Lego collector and shopping on Lego.com, you see where you can spend points. Obviously, you get rewards points for buying different Lego sets, and you can spend points towards getting some rare minifigures. And just the estimated value on some of these being over $200 for like a little minifig. I mean, crazy.
Well, and part of the reason this guy is so expensive is because he's a Legends character that was just up until recently was no longer considered canon. So the fact that they even did a promo shocked the heck out of me, and I was lucky enough to be at the mall at that point when they were doing the promo.
Yeah.
What year did you say that was?
Oh my gosh, that was, I believe, 2017. I want to say. I may be mistaken. It may have been 2016.
Okay, yeah, because that like artwork in the front with Darth Vader, I feel like that was a long time ago, but
yeah, it's an older polybag, and some of the original release of the polybag was even before that. But so a little background about the character. So Revan, I'm not going to go too deep into it because we could be here for 10 hours, because Revan's like one of those characters. He's really iconic and has a lot of lore. But he was the main character of Knights of the Old Republic 1, and you didn't find that out, spoiler alert, till halfway through the game, that you were playing as this guy. And basically, one of his most famous abilities was he was able to use the dark side without succumbing to it, and he was able to channel both the light and the dark side simultaneously, which was thought to have been impossible. He was a very powerful, and up until his death, he was one of the most powerful Force users to ever live.
That's awesome.
He changed sides a couple times, and
yeah, he kind of got a little schizophrenic there.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm a Jedi, now I'm a Sith, now I'm a Jedi, now I'm a Sith, now I'm a Jedi, now I'm gray, hooray! It was just one of those things that you had to have been there and played the games growing up, but he is a very iconic character.
Yeah, they need to remake them or remaster them.
They're remastering Republic Commando, which I'm glad, although you'll have to have a PlayStation 4 or a Switch in order to play it right now. But
Switch for the win.
that being said, I'm pretty sure if you use the backwards compatibility on an Xbox, you could possibly play Republic Commando. I don't know if it's one of the ones that's backwards compatible with their system.
Xbox is typically pretty good with that, but
yeah,
the new consoles are rarities. You guys could just cover hunting those.
I got one
things.
sitting in my room. I got one sitting in my living room. I got the PlayStation 5. I had to choose, and unfortunately, Horizon Forbidden West just looked too good, and since Halo got delayed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even know how you got one. Holy crap, I've been searching for months and have not been so lucky.
You want to know the secret? Because I'm able to get on military bases, I got onto a GameStop on a military base and got one.
You lucky bastard.
That's the only reason I was able to get one.
Honestly didn't even think about that. Yeah, holy crap, that's a whole probably untapped market right there.
That's true. All right. So switching to Saber news. For those of you who haven't seen our show before, we sometimes will cover custom sabers. Which, to give you a little background, these are unlicensed companies that make fan prop replicas of famous character sabers, or just come up with their own designs. But because of the fact that they're not officially licensed products, they can't call themselves lightsabers, so they call them sabers. And so there's a few companies here, Saber Forge, Ultra Sabers, and Saber Trio, that we're going to cover today. Saber Forge was partnered with the Make-A-Wish Foundation on their Eco Sabers. So Eco Sabers is like, it's kind of like their bargain saber. It's hard to explain without going into all the different tiers, but basically you have different tiers, levels of sabers, Apprentice being their lower end, Elite being their nicer stuff, and then of course their God tier, which is their exotics, which are super expensive. But then you have that just buys you the hilt, and then when you buy the hilt, you choose different levels of electronics, how many soundboards you want, how many different colors, etc. Highly customizable. Their Eco Sabers are: we have a hilt, this is what it comes with, take it or leave it. So they're partnered with Make-A-Wish to donate a portion of their profits on their Eco Sabers to obviously to Make-A-Wish. So if you have your eye on Eco Saber and are looking to donate to charity, kill two birds with one stone there.
And honestly, I looked through the Eco Saber pricing. It was like $120 for like a decently, fitted out little saber. Like, not bad.
They're not bad at all.
$129 on the website, I think, is what it looks like.
Yeah, Saber Forge is known for being a bit more fancier with the hilts, but they can have sabers anywhere from $50 to a hilt to all the way to $600 for a hilt. So it's not bad if you're getting an Eco Saber. It's not a bad way to go. Now, Ultra Sabers have started their winter sound sale. Basically, that just means you input a promo code if you're buying a saber with a soundboard, and you get a certain percentage off. I believe it's 10 or 15%. And they have and this is my personal opinion, they have excellent sound. However, their hilts, I don't like the designs as much as some of the other companies, but this is just me. There are obviously tons of people out there who love Ultra Sabers, and they're a great product. So if you're looking to get an Ultra Saber, maybe now's the time. Saber Trio, and this is the big company here, one of the big companies at least. They're a company that's trying to compete with Vader's Vault, which is basically where you go and pay like $1,200 for a saber. So Saber Trio is more economy friendly. It's more, you probably pay about $600-700 for a saber, but they are dang close to the quality of Vader's Vault. And they typically don't, when they have because when the pandemic started, they shut down their website and said, all right, we're only going to bring up the store when we have availability to take orders, because they were getting swamped with orders. So they their website said, I believe last time I checked, they should be available at the end of March to start taking more orders again before they shut down for a period. So if you want Saber Trio, check it out at the end of the month.
So how would you rank these three that you have outlined here for quality?
Saber Forge, I would give them an A for their hilts. Their hilts are amazing to look at. They're gorgeous. Their electronics, I've heard some horror stories. I haven't had an issue personally, but I've seen plenty of issues with Saber Forge electronics failing after a while, or having issues or weird glitches. So I'm going to give them probably about a C on their electronics. Ultra Sabers, I'm going to give them a C on their electronics as well, just because I've had issues with some of theirs. But their hilts, I'm going to give them a B. They're really accurate when they come to replicate a character, but with their original designs, just in my opinion, aren't as good. That's just me personally, take it or leave it.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask, how would you compare these also like for someone who hasn't ever seen these, like me. Well, I guess I've seen them around, but I know nothing about them. So how would you compare them with like the mass produced ones, like
The Black Series?
Yeah, Black Series FX ones.
Night and day difference. Just a regular low tier Saber Forge or Ultra Sabers with the lowest sound package you can get with one cut blade color and one sound font will blow anything you buy from Hasbro out of the water. I will just be dead honest with you. They're amazing, and there's, like I said, there's dozens of these companies out there, so there's never a lack of variety. But I will say, you pay for quality, so you expect to spend about $300 to $400 on a Saber minimum when you buy one. But it's gonna blow anything you have from Hasbro out of the water. And the nice thing about most of these companies is their stuff is dueling grade for full contact. Meaning, if you and your friend want to go out in the yard and just recreate the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan full speed, you can do that. And these things will not break. At least they shouldn't. And if they break, they have warranties. So
very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Okay.
I need a dueling saber.
Hey, I'm the man. You know, come check a look at my arsenal. So they do make sabers without sound, and these are called stunt sabers. They're much more just, they light up and they don't make any sound. You just wave them around, and that's pretty much it. I mean, no thrills. But the sabers with sound, you can get some crazy stuff. I'll send you some videos afterwards, Dylan, if you're seriously interested. I can send you some videos of what these custom sabers can do. Yeah, then you start getting into like NeoPixel and all this other stuff, which it just blows anything Hasbro has out of the water. And for my final ranking of Saber Trio, I give them an A across the board. They're just great. My only issue with Saber Trio, just like I said, is they're international. They're from Malaysia, so there's the issue of your saber will take some time to get there, but not as long as Vader's Vault, and you're getting almost the quality. So it's really nice.
It's good to know.
All right, Seth, time for your segment. Take
Sneakers of the show. Oh, it's the best segment. Come on, we know it.
It's what everyone comes to see.
So I figured since we just passed the Super Bowl, what better than to show off the Jordan 3 JTH Super Bowl?
Nice.
So this is actually a pair of shoes that was released during the 2018 Super Bowl. You can actually see Justin Timberlake wearing these shoes. So Nike released them on the Sneakers app during his halftime performance during the 2018 Super Bowl, which they became instantly sold out. Instantly. Seconds. They were gone.
Like that.
Yeah. So actually, I was only lucky enough to buy them. I actually bought them through StockX after they did a re-release, I believe in 2019. It might have been, it's either late 2019, early 2020. They did a re-release and a pop-up shop only in, I believe it was Chicago. I could be wrong on that one. But the price of these fell from like almost $1,000 a pair to about $600, and that's what I paid for them. The cool thing about this shoe is it's the JTH, so it's Justin Timberlake, but it's also JTH because it's Tinker Hatfield. Tinker Hatfield is like the god of shoe design. And he's actually credited with saving the Jordan relationship with Nike because of designing the Jordan 3. So, I mean, it's just an awesome shoe to have. If you look inside the shoe, I should have included a picture, but it actually has, like, on the insole of the shoe, it has Tinker Hatfield's original sketch for the Jordan 3 along with his signature. It's a really cool shoe, and I just like the fact that, I mean, come on, you have a shoe the same as Justin Timberlake. I mean, he literally designed the shoe. That's a badass shoe.
Nice.
So...
go ahead.
Did you ever hear recently? I got an alert from Wall Street Journal about someone very high up, an executive within Nike, had to resign because her kid was essentially scalping shoes, like getting these shoes for free within Nike and then selling them.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm sure that's against like a lot of rules, but I did not hear
big
about
time. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you had heard about it. I'll send the article to you if I can find it later. But
cool, for sure. I'd definitely like to read that. Yeah, I had no idea. That's
crazy.
That would probably wildly against like a lot of rules.
Yeah, this comment's for you, Seth.
You know, I do not have a pair of Jordan 4s, and I'm kind of salty about it.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta do something about that.
They've just been... There's one of those shoes that like I can't justify the pricing unless it's like a really cool edition, and some of them are just like way more than I'm willing to pay. So
how much do they go for?
It depends on but I've seen starting 300 to even like 400 or 500 on some of them, just depending on the colorways.
Geez.
So
Jeez. It's crazy. Well, it's that time again. We want to thank our sponsor, Watto Scrapyard, with this lovely tribute.
It's Watto Scrapyard, Annie! We want to thank our friends over at Watto Scrapyard for sponsoring tonight's episode.
You can find them on Instagram at Watto Scrapyard. They're also on Facebook and eBay as well.
Yeah, man. They make 3D printed parts for hard-to-come-by Kenner and Hasbro vehicles, which is a huge help when you're looking for those lost pieces. They also make printed head sculpts of literally anybody you could think of.
Literally anyone. They've made a head sculpt of me. They've made head sculpts of PewDiePie for you. They've made all kinds of Jedi, all kinds of characters from the Star Wars universe. They are absolutely amazing. They can get any sculpt you want designed and printed for a reasonable fee today.
Again, what a guy.
okay, I have to
That's all I
say
have to say.
that Dean did a pretty killer Watto voice.
You have no idea how much it kills me to play that clip every day. I die a little bit inside.
I think it's been laid down. He wins. Sorry.
I know. For the record, I didn't practice much.
Did you admit to defeat to that?
I did. Not publicly, though.
Privately behind closed doors, but it has been admitted publicly now, so I mean, it's over.
Yeah. I admitted it when I was crying in the shower in the fetal position.
Why couldn't it have been me?
Oh God! All right, moving on. Dylan, it is time for your segment, why we are all here, the Rarities. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this hobby?
Yeah, so playing cards is something I've gone in and out of collecting over the years. It's a very robust and deep collecting hobby, I would call it. It's interesting, that's for sure. There's all sorts of shapes and sizes of artists out there, designers, things like that. Like, I guess, like among the three, there's three big ones that I collect, or that a lot of people seem to like overall. But first, I guess just a little bit of background about playing cards. Not a lot of people know this. So pips are like the clubs, spades, things like that, the little emblems. And then, the face cards are typically called the courts. And the 52 cards in the deck actually represents the 52 weeks in a year. The 4 suits represent the 4 seasons. 13 cards represents 13 weeks in each season. And then the 12 royals, or courts, as in that sense, the 12 royals in certain ones would represent 12 months. 2 red, 2 blacks represent 4 different solstices. There's some people say as well the 4 suits also represent the 4 natural elements. So like hearts, water; clubs, fire; diamonds are earth; and then spades is air, I believe. So there's a lot of symbology and art that goes into creating them. When people look at like a deck of cards, there's like the standard deck, and then a non-standard one where you'll see the artists or designers strafe off a little bit, quite a bit, like that, like the two. So in the pictures here, I have quite a few flashy ones. But so like I'll put this one up to the camera, for instance. This would be like considered just like a straight standard king.
Yeah, something you buy at Target.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and there are some really cool ones that you've probably seen at Target. Like Star Wars has a partnership with Theory 11, a company called Theory 11. They go for about $9.99 at Target, and they're pretty cool decks.
I remember when I was a kid, I bought the Women of Star Wars deck.
You say that like mischievous. That deck.
I needed it for playing reasons. So yeah, that.
I figured there was a story there. I'm sure we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you really don't.
Deck started getting sticky.
All
like, right.
What?
So...
What? Jesus, this guy really likes the Queen of Spades.
Wait, who was on the Queen of Spades?
I don't remember. I was just making that up. Sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
No, that's fine. So this would be considered like a custom court card, or if the pips would be a little off with, like the diamonds here in this 7 card. You can see like it's a little bit up here instead of in the middle, and like the shape of them. So yeah, there's all different types, and then the printing companies. That's another big way that people kind of decide their cards and likes. Overall, within the hobby, I would split it into 3 segments of card collecting that people enjoy the hobby for, and every one of them are different in their own way. So magic cards, for like magicians and things like that, a lot of times they're marked cards that help them out with their magic tricks.
Sure.
They're going to be fancy standard cards essentially. And then and then there's also cardistry cards. So I actually have a deck. Cardistry is cool as shit. In my opinion, it's the one I want to know how to do, but it's a lot of work. So cardistry, like the backs of this one, they're fairly basic most of the time. But they'll have cool designs for, like, let's say if you wanna like fan a deck or something like that, it'll look cool. Mm-hmm. Things like that. They like those sorts of things. And then the one that I probably lean towards the most, because I'm not really big into magic, and cardistry takes a lot of time to learn. I'm starting to try and dabble, but man, you got to work at it for months to get the hang of it.
I can imagine.
And those are the ones where you'll see them like sitting there, like flipping the cards over their fingers and flinging them, and catching them with the deck. Things like that. Though that's cardistry essentially. And yeah, super tough to do. It takes a lot of time, a lot of hand dexterity. Maybe you're good with your right, but not your left. After
Sure,
playing with the women of Star Wars deck.
I was to say, yeah, we got a flashback to the Queen of Spades now. If you'll excuse me for just one moment.
But yeah, so those are really the 3 segments within the hobby. The third one, I guess, like I was gonna say, is the most kind of the collecting or art / luxury segment. That's what a lot of people would consider them at, and that's kind of what you're looking at there. So that one is done. It's an Arthurian deck, it's called. Done by a company called King's Wild Project. There's the 3 big designers that I'm a fan of. Jackson Robinson with King's Wild Project. They have some of the more aggressive marketing that you'll see on social media quite a bit. Lorenzo I forget how to pronounce his last name, but I believe it's Gagiotti. He is in charge of Sup Manny. he is in charge of Stockholm 17. Stockholm 17 is a big kind of cult following brand. I know a lot of ways of only getting their brand is becoming a Patreon, and you donate a certain amount of time, and then I believe with Stockholm you get like a big all-in-one package of a bunch of rare cards and things like that at the end of the year. And then one of my favorites is Gianni Moroni. He is in charge of what's called a company called Third Way Industries within the hobby. I probably have the most from King's Wild Project, Jackson Robinson, like the Invocation one that I was showing you here, the Platinum one. It's pretty cool.
Wow,
That's cool.
that is awesome.
So a big thing, like with, I know a lot of like cardistry and Magic players, a lot of them, they pay attention to the type of card stock. There's a ton of different card printing companies out there and different card stocks and finishes that's fairly important into the handling of the cards, or like the thickness. A lot of people that are into cardistry or working with cards typically like to point towards the workability. If the cards stick together a lot, they don't like that. They would like kind of a smooth. And then, like I said, the thickness. So here, I'll try and show you the best I can. I tried to show in one of the pictures, but it came out bad. It's hard to relay, but so you can see like the thickness is here. It's kind of tough to see, but
I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's a big deal. I know a lot with players. But like the collecting ones, like the shinier ones that you'll see with kind of the foil, they call it the foiling within the card. Those ones typically have to be a little thicker for that reason. So you'll typically see the flashier ones be a little thicker. But yeah, and there are some that can be done right. But the main printing or main companies you'll see is the USPCC, the United States Playing Card Company. I know that's a very popular one, obviously, within cardistry and magicians, just because of the quality of the cards. They seem to last a long time. It's been around forever. The company, based off of Wikipedia, I didn't know this, but has been around for 154 years, and its headquarters was in Kentucky. And recently, they actually got bought out by became a subsidiary of what's another card manufacturer called Cartamundi. They're out of Belgium, Cartamundi is. And I know a lot of people had always relied on Cartamundi to create some of the fancier decks. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, go finish your statement, then I'll ask my question.
They just rely. I was gonna say they just rely on them for some of their fancier ones, but they're typically more expensive. Another one that you'll see is Expert Playing Card Company / Legends Playing Card Company. They're kind of ran by the same. One is in China, I believe, and one is in Taiwan, I want to say.
Taiwan, huh?
Yeah. And they're looked at as not as highly regarded among the community. That thick one that I showed you, that I put up to the camera there, that's actually a deck called Solstice by King's Wild Project, and that one's done by Expert Playing Card Company. And I think the deck is cool, but like I said, it can be tough to work with and shuffle around and things like that because of that reason. But yeah, they're typically cheaper, and that's a big reason why companies that have like a super artistic feel to them kind of gravitate towards them a bit. But what was your question?
So it's kind of a two-parter. So first of all, what's the trade scene with this? With playing cards, there's always sports cards and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. There's always hey, give me your Raichu, I'll give you a whatever. But what is the trading of decks like? And is there are there Facebook groups for that?
Trading, I would say I wouldn't put it as close to like Pokemon cards as I would pretty much like collecting figures. It's a lot more so like collecting figures, in the sense to where, from what I've been able to notice, the online community is still fairly young, but the overall community is obviously one of the oldest out there. You know, it's a
Sure.
extremely old and mature group. I'm super surprised by joining the groups how many people are, you know, how often a day do you see in like Hot Toys groups or figure groups people, you know, bitching about scalping and things like that, as it's, you know, something they're surprised by or, you know, don't enjoy or something like that. In this hobby, it's almost like a lot of the collectors are well past that. They're, you know, it's just part of existence. And a lot of these cards have runs, or, you know, in their minds, low run numbers. You know, you'll see some of 200. I have one of my most prized cards that I got actually out of random. It's in this case. I'm not going to take it out, but it's six. It's 6 out of 8.
Wow!
And it's a gilded deck, but it was super. It was like it was pretty much a random. So you had to purchase the standard version of these decks that aren't gilded or anything like that. They're like a 2020 deck. Like the back says, the year 2020 caused everyone around the world to rearrange their normal. This official deck will serve as a reminder that through the highs and the lows we will go on. Wow. And so I ordered a couple of the standard versions of it, and at random they placed 8 of these amongst people's orders, and I ended up somehow getting one. I'm not lucky at all with that stuff, and I somehow got lucky with it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a crack. Go ahead. I was gonna talk about a different kind of getting lucky with cards, but you know.
God damn it, Raynor. But yeah, they always have typically a lot of the collecting decks have run numbers. Sometimes they'll have like the label, like on this one. This one's one of my favorite ones, done by an artist named Jack Penny over in Japan. It's called Cultura Animales. And yeah, so that picture on the left, I actually have, those are some of probably my 5 favorite decks. But yeah, so this guy, I haven't even taken out the pack. I haven't even noticed that, but I have a couple of these ones. But you can see the sides here are shiny, like a gold finish to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's called gilding, and that's kind of something people really like, and just the fanciness of it. It's strict. Yeah. It's not very functional, and if it's not done well, it'll wear off over the years if you use the deck a lot. But it's obviously a fancy thing and gives a lot of collectability to the decks.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so that picture on the left are some of my favorites that I have in that one that you kind of have on its side there. The one on the way left is actually like a playing card collection day card that they do every year, I think in October. And this one was the 2019 4th annual version. And I only have one from this. There's a set, I believe, of 6 of these. And you can see there's only, I think, 250 of these ones. But these ones are actually based off of artists or some of the buildings and palaces within Morocco over in Africa. Cool. And yeah, and the cards they have, like, I haven't opened this one because I feel bad about it, but I'm not. Yeah, I haven't said any of the prices of any of these, so they range. Obviously, like anything, when they sell out, they just shoot up in value. That Dracula deck that I have there on the way right, that black one, that one is on average like a $60 deck, unless you have like a collector version of it. The one next to that is actually like I believe retails for $100. And that middle one's the Cultura Animales one. That one I think you can still get on his website for roughly $30 shipped from Japan.
Okay.
Okay.
And the one on the left was $40. That's Tough Luck. And that one, the reason that's $40 is because that's an artist proof version, which artist proof means that it is essentially they're the same cards, kind of in a sense, but they're edited by the artist in a way to where there hasn't been much work done, and they're typically very limited. So that one is actually one of 50 made, and then the one on the left was the one that I showed you from the playing card day. But yeah, these ones were designed in Morocco, and these ones actually fetch a pretty heavy price. That's why I don't have the entire set. The entire set goes for 400 plus nowadays.
So that one that's like the 1 out of 8 that you showed earlier from that commemorated 2020, what would something like that be worth now, and what would it be worth like in the future?
I mean, right off the bat, it's going to be worth a ton. I would say it really just depends on how badly people have it. The tough part is when we see the market fluctuate within figures, like you're able to have a segment like what Zach and Dean have on Collecting Weekly, where they talk about what's that called, movers and shakers. You can, and like Seth talks about it all the time with his shoes and how quickly like the prices can adjust and go up and things like that. It really just varies so much because some of these cards are not, you won't find them on eBay. Like if you want a Hot Toys Doctor Strange and he sold out, yes, his price is up, but you can still get him if you want. You'll find him eventually. Whereas some of these cards is literally luck. If you want one, and like these things, I think there may be 3 or 4 listings on eBay where I could probably get some of these of the other stuff from the set. So yeah, low numbers like that, it's essentially going to be priceless. Whatever they want to create it as. I've seen the artist proof one, that tough luck one. I've seen that one go for 120, right? Like not long after it's sold out, which was within minutes. But yeah, it really just varies depending on what the buyer has it listed as, and obviously how badly the seller or the seller has it listed and how badly the buyers want it. Really,
it's both
really
a
ranges.
buyer and seller market. It's not just a buyer's market.
Right. It's tough to gauge. That's a long-winded answer to your question, because it's tough to gauge because you never fully know, because there aren't anything to go off of it. Like you'll see with like our Hot Toys like gradually creep up, in price, or like if in the sad way when Chad Boseman passed away, his shot up overnight.
Yeah.
But those are things you can almost expect, whereas like with these, it just kind of comes down to it's not as clicky or as reactive. I would say it's literally so much more personal preference. I know some places where you're ordering a special numbered deck. Some places will even allow you to give your preference for a number out of like let's say 100. Like those 2 I have sitting there, for instance. Those were made by a magician, and he teamed up with one of the most high-end card printers / designers in the hobby, kind of in the game, called Lautrec or Oath Playing Card Company. They're very intricate in their designs. Again, not the most functional deck, but they're typically just beautiful decks overall. A lot of work goes into them. I believe he's Greek based. Mm-hmm. But for instance, those 2, there's 100 of each of those, the green and the purple sets made. And I bought some, and I messaged him after I purchased them, and I asked them on there if I could request a number out of 100, and they said, "Yeah, shoot it over. We'll see if we have it." And sure enough, they did. So those things are pretty cool. It definitely is more of a personal hobby for a lot of people. Some people may love a lot of work done. Like, so I mentioned one of the designers, I mentioned Lorenzo from Stockholm 17. Like I said, he has a huge following. People love his work. What he's done in the past, it's pretty famous, kind of within the hobby. But I've just never really connected with his. Haven't gotten huge into it. Third Way Industries, I'm a Patreon there, to the point to where I get a couple rewards every couple months, and the point of it is like our own Patreons. You know, you have to understand that you're there to support these guys. That is what these guys do. Every once in a while, you'll get other people that are smaller in the hobby. The three that I named are very well established, where they don't need a whole lot of other types of income or funding. Whereas a lot of other designers, they still depend on Kickstarter. I think I've talked about that before on Small Talk, but Kickstarter is a huge platform for card collecting.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big deal because essentially it's a perfect model for them to where they can submit their ideas on Kickstarter, have everything rendered up, an idea for it, and then once they get the funding goal, they then submit that to USPCC or Cardamundis or like Legends, whatever they want to do, whoever they want to print with, and then they start designing it, send it over, and there you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that actually is pretty brilliant.
yeah, it works well, and it's really and you also have to understand too, it's one or two guys running the show here, but so that one on the left there, that Crypt one, that's actually kind of cool. So that's done by that high-end one, Lautrec designer, or his company is Oath Playing Card Company. That deck actually, that's a $250 to $300 deck right there.
Holy crap!
But that retailed for fairly high too. I think it retailed for like $60 to $100. I think 100 was like a late bird to it. But they are. I can't remember exactly how many there are of them. I don't think it's a ton, but so I have it. I'm not gonna, let's see, 500. So I have 467 out of 500. But this one it's interesting because there are no pictures of this on any social media or the web. So he made it a huge point when he came out with this to keep it to yourself and enjoy it with yourself. Like, do not post on social media. It's called Crypt for a reason, essentially. That's kind of obviously the theme of the deck and something I want to leave it as. And it actually won in what's called one of the cooler websites in the open. I would get crucified if that made its way to the community. I would absolutely get crucified. I guess people did that on Reddit and they just got murdered on there. And yeah, so it's literally just a respect thing. It's kind of cool. Just collectors coming together to enjoy that deck themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean that's kind of cool though. I mean,
yeah,
I can't think of anything else like that. I mean,
right?
Yeah,
it's a cool idea.
It's literally pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it is a super crazy looking deck. If I see you guys when I come to visit, maybe if I think of it, I'll bring it so you guys can actually see what it looks like and everything, because it's worth a show just in itself. The deck, it's crazy. It actually won the 2020 Deck of the Year on Portfolio 52, which is one of the bigger I guess platforms for the industry. Portfolio 52, it's pretty cool because it's a website that's essentially set up to where you create an account and you add decks that you have to your collection there, and you can see other people's collection, and then there you can ask to do trades or approach them to sell, things like that. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a
Pretty
huge
awesome.
huge platform, and they had a big this was probably one of their bigger years. It's still relatively new, I think maybe a 6-year-old system, but this year's awards were pretty fun. So they, to put it in segments, how I explained it earlier, like they had best tuck case, which is like this. So on this queen bee set, this is a tuck case, this outside part. Best joker, best pips, which like I said are like, the spades, clubs, diamonds. Best ace, typically the ace of spades is the most typically has the most work put into it. And then depending on how the deck is set up, so like on this queen bee one, like it's got this here, but they didn't rig the votes, Eddie. I don't believe they did. But mainly because there's not a ton of people that have that deck, but at the same time, a lot of the people that are in the industry that enjoy the collecting thing do have that deck. So, but yeah, then it's pretty crazy. I know, like, so mystery decks are a big thing. The Black Series Loot Gate. Don't get me started, Eddie. On the last show, Eddie got a little feisty with Zach. I was a fan of it. Not feisty, but he was giving him pushback about his grinds, his gears, and love that, Eddie.
He deserved
Nice.
But yeah, so it's a pretty deep hobby overall. I enjoy it. I'm starting to get into it. Like I said, I go through waves with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's lately I've been into it as everyone knows, I've covered on Small Talk, realized that I don't have the room for my figure collecting to really expand the way I want to do. So I'm starting to get very picky and choosy there.
Yeah. Well, I could see where this would be an easy hobby to get well into and still not take up a whole lot of room anyway. So
very much so, yeah. And if you get into things early, it's obviously, like anything, much cheaper. A lot of times, if you do back a deck that you like on Kickstarter and it's obviously successful and moves on, like those B decks that you see there, there's like the super bees, the killer bees, and then I showed you the queen bee. Those ones, that was off of the Kickstarter, and you'll get the best price during that Kickstarter for pledging to, your certain rewards if they're mass produced. And then if they're not mass produced, sometimes there'll be a little left over after the Kickstarter, and they'll put that on what's called backer kit. And that's how you kind of organize your pledges, and you can add others in there that are left over and buy those as well. But sometimes they'll be upcharged, and then let's say after that, if there's more left, they'll go to other retailers, online retailers, and things like that. But then even more at that point. So it's just kind of a step-by-step process, and the sooner you get into it, the sooner the cheaper obviously it'll be. But yeah, it's a fun hobby. Like I said, a lot of them have subscription. A lot of the big designers, like I said, King's Wild Project, you can go on there and buy a lot of their fancy decks that they do. I know some people consider King's Wild gimmicky, but I enjoy what he does. Jackson Robinson, he also like posts YouTube videos of him doing designing as he designs the cards. And it's really cool to watch. I sometimes like use it to fall asleep too, because it's just relaxing. But yeah, it's I enjoy King's Wild Project. I would say if someone's trying to get into the hobby, that's a good place to just kind of start. And they have, you can buy things that they have available. If you want to hop on some of their subscriptions, you can. They have a couple different subscription options there that you can go into, like gilded versions and what they call their shorts, which is like their fancy artist based decks. But yeah, and a lot of the big designers have something set up like that, like Third Way Industries. And I know I'm forgetting a bunch or leaving a bunch out here, but yeah, there's a ton of cool stuff that goes into the hobby that you don't realize. And
Sounds like it. I'll cover this question real quick. Eddie, no, I did not get the ones that dropped. I missed those.
When did they drop?
Friday, Saturday, something like that. Dude, I've missed a whole bunch on just Jordans are popular. You can't get Jordans. You just can't get them. I don't know. Popular shoe. I'm after some Dunks though, Eddie. So that's next. I'm entering all the drawings for Dunks. I know it's stupid because that's like the weird shoe that's like being hyped right now, but that's what I need.
What are Dunks?
They're like they're a skateboarding shoe that's kind of modeled after a basketball shoe.
Oh, okay.
Be interesting.
Yeah, that I did not know what I was getting into because I wanted to try and order that Boba Fett Adidas shoe that they came out recently with.
Uh-huh.
You know, that green one with like the weird brown bag
Oh yeah,
on the side.
yeah. That one sold out so quick too.
Yeah, I had no idea it was gonna be how insane that was, and did not know what I was getting into, and obviously did not get it. I don't think it's like, I think you can still get it for.
You can get it for reasonable, but
yeah,
you know, it's still more than honestly that it should be.
Right,
I think it's just the character because Boba Fett's so iconic.
And he's really popular right now.
That one, because I mean, even like, because you the same kind of, or real close in there. They did the Mando shoes. They did Baby Yoda. They did a whole lot, like right one after another. And Boba's was the only one that sold out that quickly. So.
Damn,
yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. He's for sure like across the board a very popular character. So my buddy, he actually got me to buy this one, but he's into knife collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this one knife by a company called Microtech, and it's called Special Bounty Hunter or Bounty Hunter. And it's a pretty sweet knife. There's a bunch of different versions of it, but that one sold out within minutes, he said. And I hopped on I don't think it's done in production, or they're gonna kind of do another run of it. Because if you go to like certain websites, you can still pre-order it. But yeah, that one is a super cool knife, and he actually got me to order that one. I'm not big into knife collecting or anything, but yeah, it's just, like, it seems like across the board, Boba Fett obviously sells.
Yeah, obviously. And yeah, Eddie, I do think that size 13s probably sell it really quickly. I have the unfortunate happenstance of wearing a size 10, which, you know, is by far the most like standard size for a men's shoe. So also they sell out really quickly.
Yeah, see, I wear size 17, so I just get whatever I can find.
So you can't ever, honestly, no. So randomly, because I'm in all the different shoe apps, randomly they'll do like random, like, here's this shock drop is what they're called, and they did a shock drop of some Yeezys, and the only size left whenever I saw it was size 17.
You're kidding?
No. That was the only one left. So I should have bought them for you. See, you gotta have some badass Yeezys.
That would have been awesome. Oh well, would have rocked them on the next show. Just put my feet up and like, yo, what's up?
Never pictured you as a Yeezy guy, Raynor.
I don't even know what Yeezys are.
You see what I have to work with.
You have a pair of Yeezys, right?
I have actually 6. I think I have 6 pairs. Actually, my wife has more pairs than me because she has a bigger foot than I do. So I wear size 10 Yeezy. She wears 10.5, and because 10.5 is an odd size, and Yeezys are exclusively done through drawing. So I'm up against everybody else that's drawn for a 10, and she's up against the 10.5. she gets way more drawings than I do because of it being an odd size.
And
That would
yes,
make
Eddie,
sense.
I do wear size 17s.
Yeah,
I
that's.
will, I will gladly send foot pics if you want, although it's not going to be that
In
way.
We
exchange
charge
for a figure.
We charge for those. They're not free.
Yeah, you got to be a Patreon.
We gotta support the show somehow.
So I know Eddie said he liked the Dracula one. I'll actually take this one out of the box. I had one out already, but I can't find it, so I grabbed another one I had.
Yeah, this just in. Rarities canceled for Raynor selling toe picks.
Jeez. Is that to be honest, is that something we really want to see, or do you have
really
pretty fancy feet?
You really don't. I have I'm not gonna go into it, but no, you really don't.
I mean, there's got to be a market for it somewhere, right?
Yeah. It starts with porn, ends with hub.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
Somebody's gonna be scrolling later and come across them.
All right, Eddie. So you can see these guys are gold gilded.
Okay.
I actually don't know who makes these. I should know that. I assume it's Expert Playing Card Company, but I actually do not know the answer to that.
Shame on you, terrible guest.
So
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
this
that
is some
looks
of
those
the.
are awesome.
So the guy who makes these is a magician who actually lives in Romania. I believe in the area like near where Transylvania and the whole Dracula legend came from. And so that's kind of the theme of a lot of his deck that he came out with. And like I said, I believe he's a magician. So yeah, these are pretty well received decks.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
kind of tough to see with the lighting, but yeah, they're black and then gilded. Pretty cool looking.
So, do you actually play with the playing cards? Like, do you play card games, go fish?
Yeah. So Amanda and I actually played with the Invocation one not too long ago. We played some Rummy.
Nice.
But yeah, you can do whatever you want with them. Really, it just if you have some hardcore players, like if you start up a poker game, I know a lot of people like to be. So Eddie, there are red gilded ones. There's the collector pack of these, which I also have. Those ones I have not ordered because the whole pack itself goes for like $200. But I believe it's red, black, and gold gilded. I'd have to check what the third one was, but for sure red and gold gilded is the other one of these. But yeah, I think what unfortunately, obviously we haven't been able to really like get people together to play cards, but one of my buddy that lives in a different town in college, we played Pinochle all the time. We played poker all the time, for a little bit of cash, and whipping these decks out there would just it's a little bit of fun. But like I said, I get a kick out of the really collectible ones that they'll play, but they're not going to slide across the table when you're dealing them out or anything like that.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Well, we need to wrap this up, but before we do, I have a little bit of an announcement to make. So Dan Lee is going to be designing some stickers for the Rarities podcast. We're going to get 2 designs that we're going to vote on. Hopefully, if we can get them done by next show, we're going to put out a vote on the net. We're going to make an announcement on the next show. We're going to reveal the designs, then we're going to put up a post where everybody votes on them, and that will be the new Rarity swag. So definitely, if you can, make a vote because it helps out the show.
Yeah, and we'll try to print them in as low as numbers as possible, so they're super rare.
Yeah,
There you go. Sign them and number them for everyone.
Yeah, like -5. You actually have to give us a sticker. Come on. Come on. All right. Well, it's that time to thank the Patreons here, and I know it's what everyone's been waiting for. Me stumbling through the damn Patreon.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Oh my god, I'm already feeling the headache. All right, so here we go. We got Ben Porter, Sean Fear, INCB, Rian
Ian.
Mendez, Eric Marcel, Quinn Aguirre, Leo Hernandez. I still didn't say Lemur. Thank God.
Lemur Hernandez.
King Louie, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber. I'm guessing. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. It's all part of the bit. Lisa Martin Bominski, Dan Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Crit, Jason Nelson, Big Fern, King Zachary, Caesar Maroquin, Eddie Mendez, Eric Ruiz, Mario Cortez, Stephen Pershaw, Son Yutzi, I'm sorry, Scott Bradley, Jesse Contreras, Steve and Maria Stanley, Lord Volditort, Eddie Manzares, and Joe Corpus. And soon will be joining the list, hopefully, is Old Bonswamdi. But, I gotta talk with Zach about that.
Who is that?
Old Bonswamdi, he's a character on Warcraft.
Oh.
I was gonna become a Patreon and take that name just because I wanted a little bit of mystery. So.
Well, obviously the most mysterious is Lord Voldemort.
Oh, of course. He is an enigma, of course.
That wasn't terrible, Raynor. I would say after about the first 10 names, you killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting better every time. The selective dyslexia is slowly setting in. Alright, go ahead.
I'm sad that we didn't go with the whole lemur, though. Come on.
Lemur was a one-time thing. I don't know how that happened, but it is what it is. Alright, so become a Patreon for us. You can support the show, as Dylan was talking about earlier. It helps us a lot, helps us bring this wonderful content to y'all, and just be a pal. Throw us a bone here and there. We work hard. We try to, anyways. It usually doesn't work out that way, but Seth needs his turtle money. No, all right. So you can join us, become a sweet angel for $5 a month. You get Patreon exclusive swag from Collecting Weekly. $5 a month includes a sticker sent straight to your door, as well as access to the Ox After Dark replay. I've been on Ox After Dark. It's really fun. It's a really good time, and that's where the filter comes off. You think we were talking about the playing cards earlier, the Women of Star Wars? You ain't seen nothing yet. Certified Crispy, $15 per month. You get all the previous tier, plus the Certified Crispy certificate on first pledge, assistant with figure fixes from Zach himself. Zach the man, he knows what he's doing.
The Ox Father himself.
Exactly. Message me beforehand to confirm it's possible, and all the benefits of the previous tier. The What Guy, $25 a month. What can we say about What Guy except What a Guy? Folks in this tier get a signed Collecting Live 18 by 24 silhouette poster on first pledge, doubles of all the stickers we send, one sculpt per year painted by Darkside Customs. As you saw earlier in the show, does amazing work.
Kills
awesome. Kills it. It's worth it there. However, you got to wait 3 months and all the benefits of the previous tiers.
I feel like we need to add to the Sweet Angel tier that you're definitely going to have your name butchered by Raynor himself.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I need to talk to Zach. Maybe
that's the benefit.
You get a free Zach pronunciation recording. Or Raynor.
Yeah, you get your name turned into a lemur or some other animal. Dear God. All right. Send your hate mail and just regular mail to Collecting Weekly. We have our own P.O. Box at 5886 D'Isabella Road, Suite 102, Box 292, San Antonio, Texas, 78249, excuse me. Check out our other shows. Dylan here hails from Small Talk, and didn't you? You just combined with collecting comics, didn't you?
Yeah, we got Sean on there. He has his own comic book knowledge, you could say, that he chimes in, as obviously everyone knows in the small collecting world for figures, there's a lot of figures based off of comic books, comic variants, things like that. And we got his knowledge on there for that. He has his own segment that pertains around that, and obviously we cover anything on the smaller side that we find interesting. We could make it as broad or not broad as possible, but Mezco, NECA, Mofex, SH Figure Arts, all that.
Awesome. Check out, of course, the main show, the Bread and Butter Collecting Weekly, Zachary and Dean. They've been killing it lately. The OFAC podcast, the classy podcast, as I say, or the posh podcast. Sorry, guys.
They're quite fancy.
They are fancier than us. I will give them that.
I feel like I need to sip tea while I'm listening to that.
I just sip a nice brandy or something, All right, collecting rarities. I wonder what those guys are like. No, just kidding. We got Creeps or Us. Manny has been doing really well lately. Unfortunately, his last show got delayed, but he's working hard to bring you content, and great content when he's able to bring it.
Manny's show is super unique too. I love just all the content he has.
Oh yeah, the ghost stories, the horror stories. Like, I remember his debut in my apartment. My old place, not this place, but the old place I used to live, where the lights went out in the middle of his ghost stories.
Yeah, like you could honestly feel that energy, like just listening to the podcast.
It was like, holy shit, we're all gonna die.
Haters will say it was staged.
It was not, trust me, and that doesn't happen often at my place. So
it was staged. I turned off the lights. I wasn't even there.
Man, why you gotta be hating like that? How did you know where I lived? That's the bigger question. Oh my god! All right, In and Out to Collecting, the brand new show, but they've been doing really well. They've been killing it lately. Mario and Eddie, they've been doing a great job. I think.
Yes, Mark, you missed it. You missed it.
Yeah, you missed it.
Damn it, Mark.
Did you fall asleep, dude?
We love you, Mark.
Sorry, bro. You'll be able to catch the upload here momentarily, though. Well, probably tomorrow, I guess, when Zach uploads it. So, After Dark, definitely, we talked about them earlier. Great time, great parties. Filter comes off, just have a couple of drinks and laugh to the antics of the crew. The Joy of Hobbying, great show. Shows you a little bit about how to get stuff done. Zachary takes you under his wing. It's a great, awesome thing. Yeah. Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, our Facebook group. Check us out there if you want to chat with us. You want to post your figures, your collections, your hate mail, your rants, whatever you really deem fit. It's for us to judge and possibly. It is what it is. All right, final thoughts, gentlemen. Anything last you want to say?
I need to get me a Collecting Weekly Auxiliary slide for my show. That's a good idea.
I can send it to you if you want.
No, I'll create a different one else, like just so we don't have the same one across. But yeah, join the group Collecting Weekly Auxiliary on Facebook. It is a lot of fun.
It is fun. This has been a fun episode. I had no idea how much history and all that behind playing cards was.
This was a great episode. It's gonna rank up there with our train episode, I think.
Episode definitely number one. Sorry, Dylan.
That was pretty good. You guys gotta, I think you said, have him on again. I feel like there's probably a lot more that you could uncover with that.
I feel like he could do 2 or 3 more shows, and we still would have content.
Yeah.
And I've been actually talking with him. He says he's busy right now with work and stuff, but he'd be happy to come on again in a few months. So, fingers crossed.
Fair.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I'm Raynor.
I'm Seth.
I'm Dylan.
Good night, and we will catch you all next time. Stay rare, stay golden, and stay away from the women of Star Wars.